MV Pizzle, he did it. He made the leap. UFC 299, Kevin Holland in his future, the UFC debut for the former Bellator star. Michael, great to get a chance to catch up with you again. Just start here. How freaking excited are you for this moment in your career?
Yeah, I think you know what it's getting more and more exciting. I'm a very chilled individual, so quite relaxed, and I don't tend to try to make too much of things. But obviously, as we're getting closer, seeing more promo, I'm seeing more pictures, and just loads of things surrounding this event, which is an amazing event. Yeah, it's definitely starting to build that excitement.
Absolutely. March 9th, Miami. Couldn't get any bigger than this absolutely loaded card. When you look back on your career, and you've been asked a million times when this moment will happen, if this moment will happen, is everything, as far as you're concerned, right on time right now?
So yeah, you know what? I think everything happens for a reason. I'm a big believer in that. You know, if I was supposed to be there before, I would have been there before, and I wasn't. So, the fact that I'm here now, it means it was the right time.
Did it come down to anything of like, hey, maybe I'll stay with Bellator after the PFL sale, or was it always your intention at the conclusion of your contract to make this exact move here?
It was always the most appealing for me to make a decision to go to the UFC, but I genuinely wanted to class myself or just see what free agency brought to me and offered me. So yeah, just being the first stage was obviously being released from Bellator, and it was just a nice feeling to then have different organizations approach me and give me ideas of how they see my career, and it just putting more on the table for me to think about. But like I said, the shiniest jewel on the table was always the UFC. So it would have been very difficult for me to turn my head away from that.
When it comes down to the opponent, I love this fight. I saw Michael Chandler, who respects you, say, I love MVP, but that's a tough fight for him. It's got to be a tough fight when you're a big free agent and you're landing on the scene. I mean, Eddie Alvarez had to do that. Michael Chandler had to do that. Was there a large pool of opponents, or was it Kevin Holland, take it or leave it, let's do this?
Yeah, there was a few names, but they were all the same difficulty, should I say? It's all at the top of the mountain of fighters in that division. So and I kind of made my intent clear from the beginning, and equally the UFC seemed to feel the exact same way. Is that I'm not in it to try and build myself up. I think I've made quite a decent reputation in the mixed martial arts world in the career that I've had outside of the UFC. So now that I'm here to make as much noise as possible, and I want to fight the best. So, like you say, Kevin Holland is a tough guy, but I wouldn't have wanted any other fighter. I wouldn't have wanted any like somebody to warm me up into the UFC. No, we don't need to tell my story all over again. Everyone understands this beginning, and I've heard this story. So the ticking point was, can I do it in the UFC? So I needed to do it against somebody at the top.
When you look at your age, which isn't a death sentence, it's where we're at. You've put an incredible career together to get to this point. Do you sort of agree with what Michael Chandler said upon his UFC entry, that it's like, hey, not a long time, it's a short time. It's going to be, it's going to be a tornado of fury. Do you sort of adopt that same mindset?
Yeah, definitely to a degree. So I'm a different fighter to Chandler, and even in my time in the cage, I've very rarely taken much damage. So and I've had a lot of fights, and I continue. I genuinely believe my style is capable of doing the same thing in the UFC. It's going to be a little bit tougher here and there, but my style, I don't take that much damage. So yes, I am in here for a short time due to my age, but I know because of my style, I can last a lot longer than your average fighter anyway. So if I choose to carry on, I'll definitely be continuing my career for however many years I decide to. And I'll always find out whether I'm still capable based on the training that I have to do. If I can't handle the training here in the gym, then I'll hang up my gloves way before then.
Understand. When we look at your style, the unique elements that you bring, I mean, fan favorite doesn't even cut it. Do you feel like there's ever been a fighter exactly like you in UFC history?
No, I'm a very unique specimen. I like to believe. In terms of excitement, I've been related to him many a times before. Anderson Silva has that same kind of appeal. Obviously, just absolute legend. I'm not comparing myself to him in the slightest, but in terms of the entertainment factor as well, I believe that there are similarities. But yeah, I'm very unique. My style is very, very different. It's not seen before, and we all see that soon.
The whole thing everyone's going to say is, okay, we love this matchup, but Kevin Holland's probably going to shoot and take this guy down. Do you agree with that? Is this going to be a showcase on the feet, or is this going to be a challenge of the true test of the mixed martial artist, Michael Page?
I always say most fighters that I fight, especially when they're known for being the tough guy or known for being a stand-up fighter, they will attempt that route initially. When they realize what they're up against, when they realize the speed element of what's in front of them, when they realize the power element, when they realize how tricky this a Rubik's cube of a fighter is in front of them, then they try to go to the whatever by all means necessary just to try and get the win. So yes, I'm sure he will at some point decide to try and go to the ground and try and win it that way. He'll have another shot there as well. We definitely been working for plan B, C, all the rest. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight.
When I ask you what are your intentions upon joining the UFC at this time in your career, obviously it's everything, right? I mean, you want competition, you want glory, you want titles, you want money, you want fame and all that. Is there one thing that's driving you internally in this move? Like more than
I think,
others?
to be fair, not more than others. I think there's one added element to this part, and it's my ego screaming at me, telling me, go and prove to everybody we've already known. And that is just all I have to do is just step in the cage and be myself. Because again, that age old question that's been under my name for so many years is, can he do it in the UFC? So I think that's the only added thing that's kind of scratching at me, telling me that I need to go and prove. And like I said, I'm not doing it with any. I'm not doing anything different. We're training just as hard as I always train. We're getting just as prepared as I always am for fights. But it's gonna feel nice, when I'm awarded that win, just that added bonus. I'm awarded that win. But oh damn, like yeah, he has been that guy for a very long time, just outside the UFC.
When we talk about your unique nature, it's created such a fun highlight reel of great moments. And look, if any UFC fans hadn't watched your career, they're going to be able to watch these packages and be like, damn, which one of those moments still gets you where you're watching yourself, but you're like, damn, that was pretty slick.
To be fair, I think for me, all rounded, one of my best performances, I would actually say when I fought against Dave Rickles, there were so many elements to why that was such a big deal. But I actually just felt so on point in that invite, to the point where I made the guy quit. And this is a guy that again is also known for being a tough guy and actually continues being a tough guy in bare knuckle. He's still fighting in an even tougher fighting style now, and is still known for being a tough guy. So I think definitely that just showed the kind of level that I can be, and for me, there's still more to show.
Well, look, you mentioned the Anderson Silva comparison, which you've received at times. That fight reminded me of his fight with Forrest Griffin. It's the only two fights I can remember where it's just mentally you just took it out of your opponent to the point where they were just a sitting duck. A great moment. All right, let me close with this. You've got Kevin Holland. I know you're not looking past him, but when you look at this top 10 in this division, where do you think you fit in? Who are you targeting? What does the future look like for Michael Page?
Well, I'm not in it to make up numbers. I'm only in it to get to the top of the mountain and to hold the belt. And there's only one person with the belt at the moment, fellow Brit, Leon Edwards. But there's something different about it. There's no malice. There's no bad energy, negativity. It's purely, I'm manifesting seeing two Brits, which we haven't seen before, fight for a title in the UK, hoping to build up to the point where we can sell out a stadium. I'm just visualizing that, and I really can see that happening. I think he's an amazing athlete. His story is unbelievable. People are yet to even hear my story. I think that collision needs to happen in my career.
That'd be wild. That would be something. One step at a time. March 9th, pay-per-view, Miami, UFC 299, the debut of MVP. Thank you for your time. Always a pleasure. And I'm fired up, man. I am fired up for this. Can't wait.
You and me both, man. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.